We're at Fail Fest 14. This is Edge of the Web Radio, and we're with a great local and statewide and Midwest celebrity, Gerry Dick. Thank you so much for being on the show.
You bet.
Hey, you know, we're starting off. You were the keynote speaker for Fail Fest, and can you tell us a little bit about this particular summit here?
Yeah, I think it's a great event
Yeah.
for Indiana in a number of ways. You know, embracing failure, it's something that people in Indiana, the state of Indiana, the Midwest in general is kind of, it's foreign to them, you know. They look at failure, you go to technology hubs like Silicon Valley and Austin and Boston, and failure is embraced in a big way. You fail at something, you say, okay, what are you going to do next?
Right.
Here it's viewed as failure, and
Period.
I think that's beginning to change in terms of a culture. I think this event, Fail Fest 14, we've got a great lineup of speakers, some incredible entrepreneurs who have been very successful, who aren't going to be talking about their successes, but they're going to be talking about their failures and how those failures, embracing them, really led them to greater success.
You know, entrepreneurs and investors in VC capital are usually gun shy of entrepreneurs, investing in entrepreneurs who haven't failed before. It's almost, well, are we going to be the ones that bite the bullet there?
Yeah.
As you've interviewed hundreds and thousands of entrepreneurs. Have you seen the emergence of that type of acceptance and that type of earning their stripes, so to speak, inside of entrepreneur community?
I don't think there's any question about it. You look in the technology space and the innovation space, it's everywhere. But you look, I think, in every walk of life. You look at athletes. Most athletes, I think, will tell you that they got to where they were in part because of embracing failure or that fear of failure. And failure drives them to that next level. In the business community, in the tech space in particular, you know, that failure or fear of failure can drive an entrepreneur to work harder, to think smarter, to figure out ways to get around obstacles, and really serve as a motivation in large respect. And again, that's something that's that hasn't been part of the culture in central Indiana or the state, if you will, but I really see that beginning to change.
Fantastic. Okay, as you've gone, you yourself were actually on stage talking about a number of the challenges just getting inside Indiana and your entire organization started. Do you now have a checklist of maybe things that you look for to at least understand after a particular failure, or to try to prevent from future failures? Have you defined a particular checklist for yourself?
Not a checklist per se, but I can tell you my background is in television news, which is frankly not a very innovative space, and it just isn't. And you know, I grew up really not being a risk taker, not being someone who really admired and really looked up to entrepreneurs. Never thought in a million years I could or would do it. But it was failure that got me into it, because as I was looking to get out of day-to-day television into a corporate communications position at a major company here in Indiana, it looked like that was going to happen, 95% sure. It didn't happen in the 11th hour. It was a failure. And it was a failure that really set me back initially. I was really disappointed. That was going to be my next move, put all my eggs in that basket. And as I said at the event, you know, once I stopped feeling sorry for myself, I said, hey, how can I use this failure to go on to that next thing? And it led me to create Inside Indiana Business, which ultimately became a standalone company, partnered with technology entrepreneur Scott Jones. But it was that failure, that impetus, that got me in to do that, and that's a very positive thing.
You know, something that's unique about this organization and a number of the different launch organizations that you talked about on stage is that entrepreneurs aren't doing it alone anymore, and that's I think a huge paradigm shift for risk of a cliche there. But now you have entrepreneurs that are and maybe not as gun shy to actually take risks and suffer failure, because they've got a dragnet out there of additional feedback, or at least a good group of individuals to be able to help them through that process, as opposed to taking it so emotionally.
Right, without question. I mean, you go back 15 years, and there was a big tech movement here to make Indianapolis, central Indiana, the state, more of a tech hub 15 years ago, and we were so far behind on so many things. One of them being culture. And that culture of change, embracing failure, embracing supporting entrepreneurs. That culture has now changed. You talk about the co-working spaces. There's not now one, there are more than 20 around the state of Indiana. Yeah, not just here in central Indiana in the big metropolitan area, but in places like Terre Haute and Lafayette and Goshen and Richmond. And you can count so many places around the state where that happens. So that young entrepreneur who maybe gets an idea or has an idea, a cool idea in college, graduates, he wants a place to land. 15 years ago, probably didn't have that place here.
Absolutely.
Today, there are options, and there are events like this, and there are successful entrepreneurs who are connecting and really wanting to help out in the process. So that what they're calling that ecosystem, which has kind of been a buzzword for a while, but it's real. And that's a real positive thing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time.
You bet.
Any last words of wisdom for entrepreneurs that are wanting to dive in and tackle something?
You know, to borrow from Nike, just do it, because there are opportunities out there, and now compared to 10, 15 years ago, there's an infrastructure or support system to help out.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of FailFest 2014.